I want to hear about Aliens Dark Descent, Co. That came out last night. I saw,
Yeah.
I watched a review of it and was like, yeah, we might, maybe that's a game we'll jump into tomorrow, or later today, I would say. But you did a sponsored stream for it.
Yep. 2-hour sponsor stream this morning.
Yeah. How is it? The reviews were kind of all over the place. I didn't actually, it felt like a game I had to play to really know if I was going to like it.
Yeah. So it's fun. Let's go over it. So it's fun. It's not, I would say, AAA.
Okay.
Like there were some, pretty weird animation connections in corny baseline. The atmosphere though is pretty great, and the gameplay itself is actually pretty cool. So it essentially is kind of like it plays like an ARPG, but you have a squadron of people. And the reason I say that is because even though you generally have 4 or more people, you only move one thing around. And then like if you open a chest, like one of your members will go off and loot it, or so you can do like multiple things at once.
Huh.
There is a mechanic where each character has upgraded gear and stuff. There's a cover system and things like that. But the way that it works is like you walk around and try to avoid the aliens. You're accomplishing objectives while you do it. There's like a whole bunch of mechanical and interesting systems that kind of like, increase how many aliens you're having to deal with. They can hunt you and things of that nature. Like I said, there's a seemingly full gear system. There's a full ability system as well. You get these things called command points, which you can then use like shotgun attacks and covering fire to slow them down and things like that. The environments are pretty. There's a cool flashlight mechanic where, in fact, I think I figure out right here in this area where if you do the flashlight by holding left mouse button around, depending on what Marine is closest, they're the ones that use their flashlight. So I'm doing on the top there, and then I go to the bottom, and the bottom guy's doing it, which is kind of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's lots of little stuff like that that's just kind of interesting. You can see there when you move, there's only one movement line because you're even though you have a unit of people, it's not like XCOM where you individually control each person. You're just the unit, and that is your character. It is the whole unit. So it's been cool so far. There's some light base building stuff, it looks like, but that is kind of XCOM-y in terms of how it's managed. I did look at the upgrade paths, and I have to say they looked very lackluster. There was only like, I think 13 to 15 kind of like item upgrades total, which maybe I just didn't get to more of that, which I'm hoping, because that seemed a little shallow. But excuse me, the game overall was fun. I did like the aliens story. The whole weird thing that's going on, I don't want to spoil it, but the whole like premise of it is fun and very aliensy. I think that fans of the franchise will probably really like it, and I definitely had a good time with it. It came out at a weird time because like not only do I have some other sponsored stuff coming up, but it's also Steam demo days, and I'm ripping through like 5+ different demos a day and really enjoying that. So I'm a little hesitant to kind of lock down to one game currently. But it's definitely the kind of thing that I would put some serious streams into if I had more time.
Cool.
I may return to it still.
Yeah. I saw the one review I watched from ACG said that the beginning of the game is actually the worst part because as it advances, you start to just unlock more and more stuff. And as he did that, he enjoyed it so much more in the back half of the game than the front half of the game.
I could totally see that. Absolutely. And I only played it for a couple hours and I was starting to unlock like a bunch of extra new stuff. The tutorial is basically the first like hour to hour and a half.
Okay.
And even arguably now 2 hours and I'm still getting some like tutorial-y stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I wanted to see are the aliens cool?
It's like, yeah, aliens are cool. There's face huggers. There's drones. I mean, there's obviously other stuff going on as well.
Sure.
Barry?
Yeah. Over. That was Barry. Yes. Barry is also in the game.
Barry.
But yeah, it's been fun overall. It's definitely what I definitely plugged into, and what was very interesting is not only is it a completely different take on aliens. I'm so used to it being, in just kind of first person shooter kind of stuff, but the game itself, like the control method and what you were doing, like it at the very beginning of the game, for instance, you play like one person and it's basically like an ARPG for the first 30 minutes as you're running around and stuff. And then even the game itself feels kind of unique in how it plays because of the single control scheme that you have. So like right here, when an alien pops up, for instance, everyone just starts automatically firing at it. You can hold down space to do abilities, which slows down time. You can walk while you fire, which is kind of fun. There's like a bunch of different weapons and stuff you can use during them. So yeah, man, it's a pretty freaking solid game, to be honest. I had a good time with it. Fully voice acted as well. outside of like audio or diary logs and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was good too.
Someone in my chat wants to know if you tried controller or was it mouse and keyboard only?
No, I used mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
For top-down games like this, not isometric because it's 3D, but for top-down games like this, the controller the mouse and keyboard felt really good. The one thing I will mention that it's the kind of thing where when you noticed it just stuck out like a complete sore thumb is I was really like the game is very pretty. And you are constantly like I was having fun like RP walking everywhere. But the problem is like the lead guy in your squad shouts at you like you're running to or from aliens the whole time. So I would be like walking quietly through this area and then I'd click and he'd be like, move, move, move. And I'd be like, okay. And then I'd kind of click again and he wouldn't say anything. And then I would click to go into a room and he'd be like, double time. And my guy would be like,
just, is there an alien here?
just kind of walking in. And it's just like, I really feel like they should have recorded some like normal volume barks for that stuff. Like some, like, hey, moving this way. Let's move. Like not necessarily screaming at you to get sprinting because it's a very awkward dichotomy that he's yelling at you the whole time as you're just like slowly walking through this area.
Did you already go over like the gist of the plot?
Not really. I feel like the plot it's kind of standard Alien-y stuff, but I don't want to spoil it. What I will say is what you find out in the first little bit, where obviously aliens are not where they're supposed to be, and they're causing all kinds of a ruckus. Wow. And you are trying to figure out and deal with the situation. And there's of course a lot more to it, but you kind of find that out as the story progresses.
Yeah.
Would you say it sounds like it's like a par for the course kind of a story. It's not bad. It's not great. Would you say that's true?
I would say so far in my first 2 hours, it has been a relatively standard Aliens arc.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There's nothing that's really happened so far that have made me gone like, oh, damn. Like there was a couple particularly cool scenes that I think are interesting, but at the same time, they're scenes specifically to, like cause certain game mechanics to happen and such. So it's kind of like, I get it. It's a really cool scene, but I get it.
I don't know how much. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't know how much it changes. But yeah, it's been a good story. It hadn't been bad. It's been absolutely fine so far.
It seems like it's in the Aliens, the second movie's era. Is that right? Because
that is correct.
The Alien movies span pretty far.
It is actually like Aliens with an S, Dark Descent.
Okay.
So and as we know, the plural is indicative of certain things in that universe.
Okay. Yeah. So that all right, cool.
Gives you a little bit of a time frame for it. Yeah.
Got it. Yep.
Oh, here we go. This is so like you can actually slow down time like this and like do abilities.
Oh yeah, that's what I saw.
You can have an option to pause it, which is interesting, and that's off by default. That was a tutorial, so it paused it. But most of the time, it just slows it down. So there's like a reactionary component to it as well, or you can just have it pause and take your time if you'd like to do that kind of an accessibility feature.
It's good. Yeah, cool.
Well, when you say it's 20 years after Alien 3, that's what most people are saying. 20 years after Alien 3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Timeline-wise.
So a little bit further on. A little bit. I don't remember how long she was floating in space after 2.
Yeah.
But I think it was like a couple hundred years, I thought.
For the record, at this point in it, there has not been any like iconic alien stuff. It does seem to be a relatively like standalone adventure. What I'm saying is that you don't necessarily need to have seen the movies to be able to immediately get into this game.
Yeah.
It's not like it's picking up right after a major movie event.
57 years. Yeah. Okay, so it's 60 years after the events of Aliens.
Okay. What's it cost? Is that $60?
Let's see. It is based on a franchise. It's 40. It's $40. Okay, which I would say is for it, especially if there's some serious time in this, like 10 to 15 hours kind of thing, maybe even longer. I'd say it's a fine price for it.
Cool.
It's made by Tindalos Interactive, which has made, it looks like,
I think they made one other game in the review that I saw, but it wasn't a big deal.
That's strange. I clicked on Tindalos in the new Steam, and it took me to Focus, not Tindalos.
Oh, it took me to the publisher website.
Maybe they changed that. Yeah,
I don't know.
But I was not familiar with these guys, but they seem to have done a great job.
They made Battlefleet Gothic Armada. what someone in my chat
Oh
saying.
yeah, okay. Heard good things about that game, but unfortunately, that was during the kind of shotgun approach to the Warhammer
40K.
IP.
Yeah,
So
40K stuff.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Um,
Cool. That's Aliens Dark Descent.